Hello, everyone. I'm Tom Kenny. I'm the editor of Mix. And this afternoon, we're here with Gabriel Medrano of the Adam Hall Group, uh, Adam Hall North America, I want to say, because Adam Hall is relatively a new name to the North American market, entering the live sound and events field. Welcome, Gabriel, and thank you for joining us today.
Hi, Tom. Welcome. Thank you for inviting me today. It's a real pleasure to be here and explaining and talking a little bit about our company. Thank you very much.
Adam Hall Group is a large presence in Europe, but is relatively new to North America. Can you talk to me a little bit about that decision? This is, to all practical purposes, this is a new company for many people. Who is Adam
Correct.
Hall?
Thank you. The Adam Hall is a company that was started back in the 70s, early 70s in Europe, in UK actually. And we started with manufacturing of accessories for fly cases, believe it or not. It's a niche market, but actually very strong in Europe and also here in America, of course. And we started developing those accessories and all kind of fittings for fly cases. This was our core business, and then in the last 20 years, I would say even a little bit more, we started developing, different brands, in-house brands that we started developing in Germany. The company moved in Germany in the 80s or more or less, and then became a German company. And so since then, we've grown into a global manufacturer and distributor of pro audio, lighting, and music equipment solutions, which really covers most of the needs, I would say, for any event or any musical event, production company, retail, music retailer. So this is kind of the global picture of the company in Europe, and we are in Europe among the top three manufacturers in terms of revenue right now. So the company, like I said, has been growing very fast in the last 20 years, especially. To give you a little bit more information, we are about 300 employees globally. 80 employees just started this year. So just to show you how big we're growing, how fast we're growing, 80 people started in the company in the last 12 months. So it's a lot of work.
Well, we're happy to hear that because live sound is returning. I mean, in a sense, it's good timing. But you're an established company entering a new market.
Yeah.
It has to be a big decision. You could coast in Europe or you could enter North America. Can you talk to me a bit about that decision and when it came about?
Yeah. So I was working in the company. So I've been working in the company since 1999. So almost 25 years. I started as a sales guy, running around about different countries in Spain. I'm originally from Spain, so I started in Spain. My car with samples, with doing demos of products in Spain, and then France also because I'm half French. So I started to, driving around France. So Italy, many different countries. So that at that time, we were developing all the brands like LD Systems, Gravity, Stands, and other brands that we have, the Defender products as well, and Cameo Lighting as well. And we saw really, I mean, our company was growing, and we saw really an opportunity. The demand of the fact that we had so many brands in one single, company, and so many different products that we were able to, support our customers in all the areas they needed for event. That was, a big a positive impact in the company, and that helped us to grow a lot and identify Adam Hall as a global supplier for all these products for retailers, and event companies, etc. So, like I said, the company was growing, but of course, the European market, and we are now well established in the European market. And of course, we can still grow. We are developing a lot of new products every year that help us to keep growing in different areas like the pro audio, but also on the lighting. But in the end of the day, if you want to be a global company these days, and you need to be also present in the US market and Asia as well, which we are also present in Asia. But US, in the end of the day, when you look at the numbers, and then we look a lot in the especially let's say the retail music, the music retail market, right? If you look at the music retail market, Europe, it's about 4 billion in terms of revenue. While US, it's almost 9 billion in terms of sales revenue. So it's double size of Europe. So where we saw, okay, well, if we want to grow and keep the growth for the company and become a real global company, we need to have a step in the US market. So because of our experience in the retail market and being able to offer this wide variety of products, we thought, okay, we saw also an opportunity with our, especially on the column speakers, because this is where the column speakers, we started developing our LD systems, the Maui series, which is our, one of our the best sellers. I would say one of our best sellers in the whole company. We started developing this around 10 years ago, and then when we were coming to the NAM show and we were looking at the market, and there was not many companies doing really this kind of speakers, and there was only one or two brands really starting to offer this kind of speakers, and we already had a good experience in Europe with also a good portfolio of products. So not only one product, but we had like a variety of column speakers.
You need to have that range in order to
Exactly.
expand. You need that range, I would think.
Exactly. And then, so this is where we saw the opportunity, and we said, okay, well, let's try, let's enter the market with these specific products and see how it goes. And to be honest, the response of the market was really good, and then so this is where we started. And then we decided to really focus on our best sellers, especially on the Pro Audio, on the LD Systems brand, and also focus on the retail market. So this is where we saw, the opportunity, and this is right now where we are right now, also still growing on this market and on this kind of products.
Well, what did you see? I mean, the U.S. is a relatively mature market in North America, and there are a lot of players. I mean, what did you see? You say you saw an opening there. Specifically, is this in the mid-level? Is this in mid-level venues, mid-level touring, mid-level events, or are you after the musician? Uh,
Yeah, yeah. So actually, we our strength right now with the Maui series again, which is these column speakers, right? Is really a lot into the musicians, the DJs, maybe some corporate events, bands, live performance, singer songwriters. This is really where these products perform very, very well, and they are very, attractive for this kind of audience. And this is where we saw, again, the opportunity. And then because, like I said, there was one or two brands maybe, on that kind of products, but we none of those had the variety of products we have, the performance, and the price point. So this is was really like, I think these are the three, and the design as well. I mean, design is maybe subjective. Maybe some people like one or the other, but in the end of the day, when you look at the performance of the product, the user friendliness, the portability, and the price point, I think right now we are the leaders in this kind of product.
That's the magic triangle. But there's also a need, if you're in that market, to be both flexible and scalable. No two venues, no two tours, no two anything are alike in that sense. So is that built into your sort of system? This sort of idea of being, we can scale up and down depending on the need.
Yeah, I mean I think the scalability. I mean the flexibility. It comes from, I would say, portability. What is a flexible system, right? It's like it's portable, it's user friendly, and you can adapt into many different scenarios, right? So today you have small venue. A musician is going to perform in a theater or in a small venue or on the street or in a DJ or in a club. I think our systems offer this flexibility, and also the portability, and then they're very user friendly. So to be honest, you don't need to be an audio engineer to use our systems, but you still get the high performance of a sound system of any other products that you can find in the market, even higher probably.
Now, a
Yeah,
lot of people entering this market are sort of after installation and fixed venue and houses of worship. You
yeah,
seem to have made an early association with NAM, and you seem to
yep.
like be concentrated a little bit on the musician.
Yeah, I mean, okay, because if we look at the Maui series, I would say the Maui series is focusing on this kind of on this kind of audience, right? But we also have a bigger range. We also have, for example, the curve systems, right? So the curve also was another product that we launched. I would say also around 8 years ago, and around that time, and it was one of the first modular um, compact line arrays in the market. And I would say when you say compact, it's a system that you can, it's 1,000 watts RMS that can be used for a duo or even a small band, and you can scale it up because it's a modular system. You can add more speakers into the system, and then you can scale it up and do a small venue up to 500 people, for example, right? So this is where also that kind of product help us to enter also the market for more like small production companies, integration as well. And this is a product that we also are selling here in the US. Is not as, I would say, as notorious as the Maui series, but it's also a product that we are, pushing and developing and keep, selling, and also developing new products along the line. So one of the, yes, around it, so that we also growing on these kind of systems, for example, and it's not ready here yet in the United States, but in the Europe we launch a new line array system. It's called the Myla, and this is now, to be honest, really getting a lot of traction in the European market with many, production companies and rental companies. And we started in the Europe market, and it will come soon here in the US.
Total sense. And that market is big in the US right now. That mid-level market, certainly since touring came back, it's almost, I see some parallels uh in the film industry where Marvel movies are made and then other movies are made.
Yeah,
That market is huge and very
yeah,
popular in the US,
yeah,
both on touring and on the installation side.
yeah,
Um,
correct.
I mean, we sort of danced around your product offerings. I mean, in the sense you have entire packages and systems to go on the road. I mean, everything from lighting to stands to cables. Uh, you probably bring in staging at some point. But the point is, you have this range that seems very important to you. Is that key to entering the market, having that variety?
Yes, I think so. I think it's one of the key factors that also help us to be successful here. These days our customers, and even if retail or production or integration companies, in the end of the day, you need a variety of products to create an event, right? It's not only about the sound, you also need the lighting, you also need the stage products, you also need the effects, maybe, cables, and all these kind of accessories that go around. And also when you when for a company to buy into multiple suppliers, it's also more difficult. So if you have one vendor that has everything, it's always easier to deal with. And then if that supplier has the products in stock, has it's easy to order from them, they have an attractive price, and they have a good quality, why you should go out, somewhere else to, trying to, multiply your efforts and trying to buy from different sources, right? If you have one source where you can buy everything, and it's, it fits with all these different things that I was just mentioning, I think it makes sense to anybody to just use one supplier, right?
Yeah, and you establish a relationship that way. I mean,
Exactly.
if you build trusted speakers, you can build trusted lighting, for instance.
Correct.
Right? Um,
Yes. Yes.
is that how you hook them? Do you hook the customer with your speakers? Is that how you bring them in first? Like when you're a salesman in Spain and you're driving around, how do you introduce the company?
Yeah, well, it depends. This is okay. So this is kind of it depends on the customer, right? You have different today. You have, I would say, two ways to, or we work basically on our side. We work in two different levels. So one side, as you know, the last years the market has changed a lot in terms of the decision making, right? The decision making these days, big chunk of it is done online. So the what people, before they buy anything, they go online, they go on YouTube, they go on the social media, and they already look into the variety of, they look into, opinion leaders, and they look at, okay, I need this kind of, I need a product for this application. They go online and they look, okay, what's in the market, and then they go into their, normal references, sources, where they look into that. So this is, I would say, 80% of the decision is already been made after that. When you look into, after you gather all the information, you already have a good idea of what you want to buy, right? And which brand, which product, etc. So it's very important, and this is where we are working a lot from our side. It's very important to be there, so when people are looking for the products, that they find us. So this is where we do a lot of work from our marketing team, and we have a very, professional and powerful marketing team in Europe, where we work a lot on digital marketing, and we work with influencers, we work with, opinion leaders, we do a lot of reviews with different medias. So where people are searching for a speaker, for a light, for a stand, for a, a pedal, an effect, whatever, they're gonna find our brands, our products, and they're gonna find videos, explainer videos, where they can see how the product function, how it sounds, etc. Opinion leaders like influencers, they're gonna talk and they're gonna test the product. So this is a big part of the work, and this is what I would say we are quite strong and quite good at. And the other part of the work, of course, there is also some corporate decisions. So people, I mean, like maybe integrators or mid-sized venues, they look maybe online, but in the end, it comes more like a corporate decision, where you have different people involved, depending on different aspects. They make the purchasing decision, right? So at that point, we are more coming to, like, directly to the customer with the product, and we do the demo. We bring the product, we test it, we leave it there. They can test it, they can try it, and this is where, more or less, then this is where the decision is made, right? So we have, in Europe, but also here in the US, we have a good sales network of reps, which are traveling every day. They have samples, they go to see customers, they go to see venues, production companies, rental companies, and they bring the products for testing. And in addition of that, we also have our showrooms, where this is something we implemented a few years ago. We were one of the first in the industry to have different showrooms. So we have a big experience center in Germany. We have another one in Spain, and we have one also here in New Jersey, where we invite the customers to test the products. So we bring them here, and okay, you need there is a project for this installation. There is this venue that we need, or this production, this rental, etc. We bring the customer here, and we spend the day here in the showroom, and they can test, and all the products. So this is where the two ways we work to implementing and create the brand awareness of our products and selling, basically.
To enter a new market, eventually you got to sit them down in front of a speaker. I mean, that's sort of the way it works. I mean, eventually you have to
Yeah,
get in front of your product with all the online, with all the decision making that goes. That's research to me. They
yeah,
still, the car industry learned this. They still want to kick a tire. They still want to see
yeah.
what it feels like
Oh,
and
yeah,
what it
definitely.
sounds like, right? Well, talk to me. What is you entered the U.S. at a, shall we say, challenging time. Um,
Yeah, yes.
what, maybe one year before the world shut down, there were no
Correct.
events.
Yes.
What have the last 3 years been like? I mean, what have you used that time for in North America?
Yes. Yes. So, yeah, like you said, it was, coming one year before the pandemic. It was, very challenging. The first year, or the first year and a half before the pandemic, we were really structuring the company here. So, you start a company, you have to bring the stock, you have to, people, and you have to structure a little bit everything. So we were in that process, and okay, already some sales going on, which was okay, really good, and some dealers, good dealers that we already had and on board. But of course, the pandemic hit, and obviously, I would say the biggest challenge was to keep the people and to keep the supply chain, right? So these, I would say, the two biggest challenges. Keeping the people was difficult, so we had to unfortunately do some layoffs in the company. but we managed to keep, a good amount of people in the company. And the supply chain, we Adam Hall, because of the growth of the last years, we have a good financial situation, and that help us also to keep the wheel moving in terms of stock and supply chain. And I would say when we came out of the pandemic, we were one of the few that had a good amount of stock of different products where many other customers or many other manufacturers or suppliers didn't have. So
And
that,
still going on for some, you know.
yeah, exactly, exactly. So we are very, in Adam Hall is a quite strong company in Europe. We have a very good relation with our suppliers, with the factories. We have a good team, on all the supply chain, and that really helped us. And the financial situation, of course, which was strong, that helped us to go through the pandemic. Many people that was laid off came back again afterwards, and then that, yeah. So we went through the pandemic quite good. And the other thing is also, and this was also thanks to the variety of products that we have, the portfolio, which is quite big and quite and wide portfolio of products. For example, in the US, we are, in addition of the 5 brands that we own, that are our house brands, we also distribute 4 brands. So we are the exclusive distributor for Hofner guitars, Maton, which is an Australian brand of guitars, EBS, and Matt Professor, which are pedals and cables for guitar players. So as you know, and everybody know, while everything was shut down, and there were no live events, there was a high demand on guitars and instruments because people could not go out. And what they said, okay, let's use this time to learn an instrument. And lucky for us, we had 2 brands of guitars, and we had a good stock and we keep having stock during the pandemic. So that really helped us a lot also to keep the company alive through the pandemic. And believe it or not, there was also some events going on, some live. I was really surprised. Sometimes, we were getting orders for Maui 44, which is our high, most powerful column array system, and we were selling the Maui 44s quite well. I would say not in the beginning of the pandemic, but towards the middle and the end of the pandemic. And I think everybody knew there were some states in America where the shutdown was not 100%. There were still things going on, and we were delivering products, and so that really helped us to, I would say, the variety of products, the financial strength, and being able to keep the supply chain, that was really save us and going through the pandemic and being even stronger afterwards.
Well, it's you mentioned earlier that you've hired 80 people, so there's obviously a bounce back for you here
Oh yeah, definitely.
in the company. What does the next year look like for you? Are you traveling all over the states? Are you establishing more relationships? What are you doing? You're not going to get a
So
vacation. You're not going to have a vacation. It sounds.
no, it's very busy. To be honest, it's really busy, and which we are very thankful and very happy, because it means that we are strong. We have a strong base now, and the brands are getting stronger in terms of awareness with in the market. So we are really developing in many different areas. We are growing in our marketing department. We are growing on our sales department with more people on the road. Um, we are also implementing new tools and growing on our logistics here, also in the US and also in Europe. So because we need to grow in terms of capacity of having more stock and being able to to fulfill the growing demand that we have. So to be honest, it's going to be a very busy year, and in addition of trade shows and traveling as well, of course. But it's going to be a very busy year, implementing all these things and keep the growth, keep the basement to keep growing, right?
What? One last question. You came from Barcelona and you're now living in a beautiful part of New Jersey. How's the family enjoying it? Are you enjoying your time in the States?
Yes, yes, yeah. To be honest, New Jersey is not as bad as people may think. I mean, Barcelona, of course, it's my hometown, and I love it. And I go there every summer. I spend a couple of weeks there, and then the food is good, etc. But here in New Jersey, to be honest, I'm really happy. I have two kids, and they really enjoy here. We live in a nice area, with surrounded of woods and lakes, and my kids are running around with a bicycle and deers and all these kind of animals, and they're really enjoying it. So that's really good. We have a bit of both worlds, right? When we want to go on holidays, we go to Spain. The rest of the year we're here, and it's really nice also.
I love. Well, congratulations, Gabriel, and I certainly I wish you luck in further launching Adam Hall Group because you do have. In doing my research, it's a strong company. It's a
Yeah.
very strong company, and I wish you luck in your presence in North America.
Yeah, thank you very much, Tom. It was a good pleasure to talking to you and explaining a little bit about the company. And I hope we can see each other soon in a trade show or somewhere,